Welcome to No Budget. We're going to have another fun makeup episode today with wai-har Healy. Last time she was on and she took the lovely Claire and gave her a nice abused look. This time she's going to take this handsome young mug and make it look old. So let's get to it. We begin here with cleaning my face. It's already clean already, of course, because I'm a nice clean guy, but it doesn't hurt to just kind of get some cleaning solution and have a nice palette to start with. What she's doing here is she's taking a product called Prosaid, P-R-O-S-A-I-D. It's a cream adhesive. While applying the Prosaid, with her other hand, she's stretching my face. That way, as the product dries, she'll release it and it'll snap back, creating those ridges that will be used for the wrinkles. The Prosaid can be purchased from special effects stores or you can get it online. The particular one that she's using is a 6-ounce bottle, which goes for around 50 euros here in Ireland or $40 in the US. I'll throw a link to the product on Amazon in the description below the video. In order to speed up the drying process, you can simply use a small handheld fan. Now we are applying a second layer of the product. You can do this over and over again to create layers, which will create those wrinkles. This will vary depending on the person's skin. It does dry clear, so you don't have to worry about any discoloration that you'll need to deal with associated to the product. At this point, even though we're only working on the second coat, she's also starting to work her way out from that initial smaller portion right next to the eyes. I can feel it drying on my skin as well at this point, but it doesn't hurt or anything like that. It doesn't burn, so you don't need to worry about anything like that. Notice with this next layer, it is wider than the previous. This will help when blending it with my natural skin so that it does look natural versus some type of a prosthetic that has been placed onto the face. She's kind of encouraging the wrinkling process here, doing a little bit of stretching it out, a little bit of pushing it back in, and then standing back, seeing how it looks in the light, she can kind of then decide what she needs to do, whether it be another layer or something else. When doing a film shoot that requires old age makeup, be sure to schedule enough time to allow your makeup artist to get the work done. This can take upwards of a couple hours simply applying these layers of wrinkles, and then you still have the rest, potentially the hair, any other makeup work that needs to be done. So be sure to plan that well. Personally, I actually had an experience where I did not plan enough time for the prosthetics and the makeup that I needed for a particular shoot, and it did end up taking much longer than initially scheduled, which then of course pushed everything out. So that was a valuable learning experience for me. Look to the makeup artist. They're the professional. Ask them exactly how much time is this going to take, what do you need to make this happen, so that way you can work that into your schedule. This is your standard makeup sponge here. She's just kind of dabbing on it and using that to smooth it out and make it look as natural as possible. We're going to move on from the eye area to my smile lines or laugh lines. Using the same method as before, applying the Prosaid, working it out from the central area, dabbing it with her fingers as she needs in order to blend it and make it look smooth as it works its way into my skin. Noticeable difference right away with just the one layer around that laugh line. Using the same technique, pushing it up, stretching it out, pushing it back in, trying to get that look where we can see that crease in the face much more visible than it was before. Using the brush, kind of blends it in a little bit. The brush has a little bit of powder on it as well. now that we're happy with the look of the Prosaid and the number of layers that we wanted to go to simply age me about 5 years, we're going to move on to some makeup. So what she has here is a alcohol activated paint. By adding just a little bit of spray alcohol to the paint, that liquefies it, which she can then use her brush in order to add some color to the skin. Using a brush with a finer point on it now, she's taking some kind of dark browns, and using those and painting inside the crevices of the lines, those creases. That's going to allow them to stand out just a bit more and create a color difference between the higher ends of the ridges of the wrinkles and the lower ends. Notice how she's painting it on kind of real light, real subtle, so that it's not super noticeable. This is what you want. This isn't stage makeup where you want it to be kind of over the top. This is for film camera. That camera is going to pick up on this really well, and you don't necessarily need it to be kind of blam in your face obvious. This is just your standard makeup sponge. You can get these pretty much anywhere. Just dabbing, tapping lightly, just blending it in with the skin there. Simply taking a large makeup brush with some powder, she's powdering everything. The Prosaid is sticky. This will help kind of deal with that stickiness factor, and it'll help when later on she'll need to apply makeup in order to give a older look to the skin color as well. Powder also helps reduce the shine from the Prosaid. If you notice what she's doing here, she's kind of going back and forth. She'll use the sponge a little bit, she'll use the powder a little bit, and it's just kind of all these little touch-ups and layers. It's kind of like cooking. You don't just throw everything in the pot. Well, maybe you do, but often you'll kind of cook it a little bit, you'll give it a little taste, you'll say, okay, maybe this needs a little pepper, or this needs a little salt or oregano. Special effects makeup is a similar type of a process where you're doing layers and you're adding to it as you see it go along, and you say, okay, I need a little bit more of this over here, a little bit more of this over here. Okay, from here we've moved on to my forehead. Once again, using that exact same process, the Prosaid, dabbling it on and identifying the areas where I already have wrinkles in my forehead, and this is simply making them more pronounced and to stand out more once the work is done. We only did one layer on my forehead to get those wrinkles to stand out, but you could do 2 or 3, 4 if you need to. She's finishing off with the powder again. This will help with the stickiness of the Prosaid, the shininess. The powder will also help when it comes to the makeup later on so that it's not dealing with the stickiness of the Prosaid. For the makeup, all she's using is that same alcohol activated paint with the same brush that she used earlier as well. So it's kind of a little bit darker, and she's dabbing it on. Here she's adding some gray to the hair. This is an excellent way for guys to age us. A little gray in the hair adds years easily. You can find all kinds of products for adding gray to hair at costume shops, makeup stores, and online. And of course, don't forget the eyebrows. You need to gray those up a little bit as well. There you go. So there's a little quick makeup tutorial. We definitely noticed it over on this side here on the left. If you get it nice and close, you can see it. Nice and close.
Go on in. Yeah, close.
Okay. Nice and close there.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it, and it is, as it's drying, it's wrinkling up a bit more too compared to when we first did it. And we were saying, if you need to go layers to do more aging, other stuff, the hair, the salon lines, that kind of
It's nice to have an assistant because they can just hold this thing taut a bit more.
Which assistant work. So
So there you go. Hopefully you found that useful. Leave a comment, let us know, share, and all the fun stuff that you're supposed to do.